Hey there guys, today we're just going to take a look at my tent system, my primary tent system, which is the Eureka Extreme Cold Weather Tent. Okay, this is a U.S. military tent. Don't let anybody tell you, oh hey, they're just, extras that they had and they're calling them military surpluses to sell them. That's bull. These are military tents, and I'm just going to tell you quite a few reasons why I like this tent a lot better than any civilian tent that I've used. And some of the problems with it maybe. But today this is just an overview of it. I'll show you the actual setup later. But this is basically what you carry. This entire system right here is 20 pounds. So if you're already humping a 60-pound rucksack, strapping, 20 extra pounds on there, that's 80 pounds. Now that's most people's, thought process. This is not how the tent was made to be carried. The tent was made to work as a split load, where one guy will take, the main tent body and then maybe the stakes. Then his buddy will take the fly and the poles. Now what I usually do is each one has a stuff sack, so like this is the contents tent body. See, so that's the main tent. Contents, woodland tent fly. Now there's 2 tent flies. Somehow I ended up with like 2 of each, so I've got 2 woodland tent flies and 2 Arctic tent flies, and which one I use just depends on the situation. It's usually the Arctic fly because it always snows here in winter, and that's really only when I use this tent. I'll usually use like my jungle hammock or something in summer and such. But when it gets cool, this is the ultimate tent. This, and then there's the poles. There's enough poles for always. Just a quick tip: when carrying poles and stuff, always carry like 2 extra or something, especially when it's cold out, just as a contingency for, frozen tent poles, or one shatters, or shot cord comes out, whatever. Just carry like just 2 extra poles. They're not that heavy. Then you got the stakes. This is just this tent accessories, which I put stakes in. Just standard, aluminum stakes. Be careful. Definitely bring some extra stakes because, I've broken enough of these to know that you want to carry some extras. Tents, they're usually stable with 1 dude inside, but if you're gonna like set up a tent, and then, conduct an op out of there or something, then you're definitely gonna want to stake it down, especially in high winds. This thing, I think it'll take sustained winds from about 50 miles an hour, and then it'll take gusts up to 65, so it's a nice tent. Why I love this thing a lot more than any civvy tent is just because it's a lot more durable. I've had civilian tents, from Eureka and everything, I've had them rip on me, I've had them, flood on me. I can tell you a few stories about that. This is just an amazing tent, especially when you have the fly. The thing is with the tent, a lot of people think that you can just, in a light rain, you won't get wet with just the tent. You will. Use the fly. Use it, What I usually do is on the main stuff sack for the tent, you can actually fit some other stuff in the top there. I have it, cinched off, but it has compression straps, and what I usually do just for the ease. So like let's say do something like this. Take the tent poles and you can actually cinch them onto the pack, and you can actually cinch them onto the stuff sack for the main tent. And there you go. So you got the tent and everything, and you can get it tighter than that, but so you got the tent and poles right there, and then you have the fly, which doesn't have anything to compress it, which It's a real shame because this thing can get quite a bit smaller, but the thing with tents is they're really not meant to go in your pack, except for maybe the stakes, but those I usually put with the poles. This tent, it can be used one man, you know, not one man can carry it. If he's carrying a lighter load than everybody else, and he just says, hey guys, you know, I'll carry the tent, whatever. This is a big enough tent for a fire team, 4 dudes. This is a 4-man, 4-season tent. So, you know, you can split the load up, you know, 4 ways or something, you know. If you're dealing with changing environments, you might have to bring both flies. You might have to bring the woodland fly and the Arctic fly, you know. If you go out, you know, check the forecast, whatever, if your camouflage is your main purpose, but, you know, you might have, you know, it might be, you know, green or whatever one day, but then you go out, you know, you wake up, there's a bunch of snow on the ground. You know, you need to use that Arctic fly now. Dig down in the snow, get rid of that bulbous top, and all that. There you go. I'll show an actual like setup of the tent at a later date. This is just going over it. So like I said, 20 pounds. So it's not lightweight. This is meant to be like an expedition sized tent. You know, 4 dudes. I know we have at least like 2 sets of each of the flies and then 2 sets of poles. I'm pretty sure we have, yeah, I think we got an extra tent. Yeah, we do. We have 2 tents. This is just, yeah. Thing is with these tents though, for most everybody else, they're very expensive. You know, I saw on eBay one of these that was a full set and it was like $2,500. That's insane. Ooh, another thing why I like this tent better than civvy tents is civvy tents are usually like really poorly camouflaged. They're usually like red or yellow or green or some other bullshit. This is, you know, woodland tent body, woodland tent fly or Arctic tent fly. Just use the fly all the time. It has a vestibule for your gear. And there you go. I'll show you an actual setup of the tent at a later time, but this is just an overview of it. Alright guys, this is us signing off. Peace.